fuck happened?
What's going on, everybody? This is Trend Kill Radio, a rock news show about all things rock, except for when it's not. Brought to you by the Foundry Concert Club right here in Cleveland, Ohio. I am your host, Sean Ryan.
And I'm Jimothy.
That he is. And before we get started, just please, like, subscribe, do your thing, help us out. It helps us. Come on, it helps us. We're almost at 500. Our news is not fun today. Our news is not fun, where we're not going to be up to our normal antics like we usually like to be. But I mean, this feels like a breaking story. It's happened about 8 hours ago that this story came out. But former guitarist and songwriter for New Found Glory, Stephen Klein, he has been convicted of, let me get this correct, indecent exposure in a California child porn case. The plea stemmed from 2014, where he was charged with seven fucking cases. 7 cases, including 5 felony counts of lewd acts on a child, 1 count of contact with intent to commit a sex offense, and another of child pornography possession. That is a lot. That's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Court cases in America, we know I always assume they'll go on for a year or two. This has been going on since 2014. He was kicked out of the band like way long ago.
Oh yeah, they part ways like immediately as they knew anything was like slightly wrong. They're like, nope, we're not attaching ourselves to that at all. Done.
Yeah, because they came back from Warped Tour in Australia, and Steven kind of confessed to him like, hey guys, these are the charges that maybe filed against me. I just want to give you a heads up. And they went, sorry, dude. And they said at the time they were like, oh, we have just personal differences and stuff. That's why Steve's leaving. So they didn't want to really throw him under the bus, but they knew it was going to come out anyway. So they said, bye-bye, Steve.
You lose. Good day, sir.
All right, there was a joke right there. Sorry. But it was all good fun.
So last month, Klein reached an agreement in the San Luis Obispo Superior Court to plead guilty to the felony incident indecent exposure, with the remaining charges dismissed, as reported by the San Luis Obispo Tribune. So he'll have to register as a sex offender for at least 10 years.
He'll have to register as a sex offender for 10 years. Due to this dwindling down from 7 charges and being only convicted of 1, he serves no jail time, and then he has to be on probation for 2 years. If he goes through 1 year of just regular probation, just meaning no drinking, no drugs, no speeding tickets, no looking at little kids. If they found him like that, he did that well for 1 year, this charge gets dropped down to a misdemeanor, and he has served no more probation, which is like getting away so scot-free almost, it feels like. I mean, having to knock on everyone's doors for the next 10 years, all right, that's going to suck, but it seems like that these cases, or these charges, they have dwindled down to pretty much nothing as long as he behaves himself for 1 more year.
Right. And I guess that's really kind of based on the fact that there was no physical contact with any of the victims. It was all virtual, which still doesn't justify it in any way, but I guess they were able to argue that in the court of law, but it was still egregious in its own right.
Yeah, basically back in the day, there was a website called Omegle. And there was something else like more prominent than that, though, where you would you click on a page or something.
Chat roulette.
A chat roulette. There we go. Yes, yep. Just like that. And if anyone's ever been on chat roulette, what did you always see, whether you wanted to or not? Any raise your hand. Raise your hand. Go ahead.
A penis?
That's right. There was penises everywhere. All the time, unwarranted, unwanted. It would just be like take a look at the picture of me, and then it just imagine that disappeared, and it was just Jim, and there was a penis. Like you had no power over it. There was no starting conversation or whatever. This though was a bit more premeditated.
I think those sites totally missed out on using Star Wipe. Imagine if you just Star Wipe to the next scene. Roll the Simpsons clip.
Okay, from here we star wipe to a glamour shot of Flanders paying his bills.
Now, it's a little vague in this story about why the cops actually busted him in the first place, because these videos from Omegle of him chatting with girls and showing his dong and all this kind of stuff and asking them for lewd pictures and all, like I said, 7 charges, lots. Lots of stuff going on here. They were found on his hard drive, so he saved these things, correct, Jim?
It's one of those things where if you don't know how to manage your data always lives in your hard drive to some extent. So forensic people can go through and find stuff that you supposedly deleted if you know how to hack it.
Okay, so maybe
know how to properly delete it.
Okay, so maybe he didn't save them, but like there must have been something where one of the girls or whatever, alleged, like, oh, it's the fucking guy from New Found Glory. He was getting naked in front of me.
Right.
So maybe that's what started it.
So yeah, someone made an accusation, then they probably got a warrant to seize his computer. And like I said, like just because it's in your recycle bin or even you deleted from your recycle bin, just because you think you deleted it doesn't mean that someone forensically can't get into your hard drive and figure out what you've done unless you did like a true wipe of your entire machine, like with like magnets.
There you have it, folks. Watch your shit, yo. Better be legal. You never know when the cops are going to bust in your door. This is all from Loudwire. They go on to say, at the time, an expert witness for the prosecution, Dr. Nisha Abdul-Kader, testified that 2 females on the other end of the Omega call were likely between 9 and 16 years old based on their physical traits. Fucked up, because, all right, but I mean, honestly, like, how can you not tell the difference between a 9 and a 16-year-old? Like, I mean, this was only 2014. It wasn't that grainy. Like, that's weird.
Right.
You can tell, like, the difference between 9 and 16, but that's besides the point. Still, I mean, very bad.
I mean, it's one of those things, too, where it's like 9, like, there's no way 9. But I don't know, like, 12 to like 16-year-olds. We're not talking about HD. These were probably like 480 cameras on like their built-in devices. So
in 2014, a legal representative for Klein, Deborah White, remarked that, quote, people are quick to assume that if a person is charged with a crime, they are also guilty as charged. All charges against Steve are derived solely from online consensual video chats between Steve and some female strangers he met on an adult website. Steve believed that the females were over the age of 18 because it was an adult website. Adult website, yeah. Like anyone. Okay.
There are no 18-year-old girls on the internet. You learn nothing.
And more like further evidence lacking thereof, they could not find many of the girls that he had on his hard drive. They don't know who they are. They're gone. Like I said, these were just swipe and find someone to show your stuff to, whatever it may be. Those websites were popular back then. Jim, why don't you give us a final thought like Jerry Springer? In the end, no one really wins. No one did win. No one won in this. It's bad. I mean, at least he was brought to justice in a certain sense of the manner. I feel it's a little light, but I mean, there's a lack of evidence, so I mean, you can't convict. And that's why I think this is dragged out for 6 freaking years. So maybe this is like maybe driving him insane, and he's got 10 more years of bullshit coming up for him.
I mean, it was a plea deal. They said it was a plea deal. So he's like, he's basically like, I'm done going through that. I admit to this much. Punish me to the extent you need to, and let's get this over with.
So, in the end, nothing really matters. That is all that we have to say about this topic. We will keep you updated with any further stories about this. I doubt there will be any. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe, like, hit your notifications because we don't know when these shows come out. Thank you so much. Once again, I'm Sean Ryan.
And I'm Jimothy.
And this is Trend Kill Radio. Don't be a pervert.